It's a story I wrote actually today. It was a fun one, right? It's called The Man with a Monkey on His Back. As he slowed his car to a stop, he hazarded a quick glance into the back seat. He knew it was still there, taped up and safely wrapped in a bag, because he had heard it shift a few times as he had gone around a turn, and again when he came to a stop. Regardless, it gave him pleasure to see it there. He had gone through a lot over these past 2 weeks to get it. First, there had been the internet searches, then the email exchanges, many of which led to a dead end. When he finally got his hands on it, it didn't come cheap. Things like this never did. Suddenly, he felt a tinge of that old anxiety and dread. He remembered the emotionless, mocking face, the way they had relentlessly beaten him. Things would be different now, he was sure. He was a man, fully grown, smarter and faster. He would not cry himself to sleep this night. The sound of a horn behind him took him out of his thoughts. The light had turned green, and he accelerated towards home. As he pulled into his driveway, his heart began to race. Was it fear? Was it anxiety over the things that had happened between them in the past? Or was it something else? The excitement, knowing that he was soon to avenge all those beatings, all the humiliation and frustration that had occurred so long ago. He put the car in the park and quickly got out. As he opened the back door of his car, he noticed it seemed smaller to him than it had back then. He lifted it easily and carried it into the house, shutting and locking the door behind him. He carried it straight down to his basement. There were no windows, and his wife and 2 children were away for the weekend. That meant there would be no distractions. It was for the best. He didn't want them to see what he was about to do. He placed it on the cold concrete floor and stared at it for a moment. He was excited to get started right away, but that was not how this was going to go. He went back up the stairs to his bedroom, got undressed, and threw on some old clothes. He called his wife, keeping the conversation short. It was a struggle not to talk faster and hurry her off the phone suspiciously. He spoke briefly to each of his children, telling them he loved them and he'd talk to them in the morning. Then he turned off the ringer on his iPhone and poured himself a drink. Finally, he made his way back down to the basement. His heart was in his throat, but he forced himself to calm down. He tore the bag open slowly and then pulled out his knife and carefully cut the tape. He was going to relish every minute of this, he thought, as he freed it. He couldn't wait to wipe that smirk off his face, to stare at those large teeth without fear and vanquish years of regret. He started running wires, making connections, and finally plugged the last wire into the wall and flipped the switch. As the music started to play, he paused. Did he really want to do this? Would it be better not to risk the chance of reopening healed wounds? He pushed the button. He climbed. He jumped. He picked up the hammer and started smashing. His old nemesis resisted, throwing things into his path. A sheen of sweat formed on his brow. This wasn't going as well as expected. For nearly 2 hours, they went back and forth, smashing and throwing. He smiled, he cursed, he yelled. He suddenly became aware of the urge. Oh, sorry, let's get on. And then it was over. Donkey Kong was beaten. He suddenly became aware of the urgent messages his bladder was sending him, and he rose from the couch, switched off the vintage Atari system he had bought earlier that day, and headed upstairs to the bathroom. Finally, 35 years later, he had avenged his younger self. He smiled as he reached the top of the basement stairs and switched off the light.